seasonal greetings. I am your host, the Iron Phantom, and welcome to this festive edition of the Iron Phantom's Black Book. So, it is that time of the year again, Christmas time. And of course, this is no festive special without our story for this edition. Yes, this story that I want to tell you is called The Wild Man. Norway, around the Christmas period, a couple named Chris and Mary, walk with their son in the woods of a cold winter's morning, nearing Christmas time, on vacation. The son, Nicky, says, "Do you think Father Christmas is going to come?" "Trust me, son, he will come if you are good. We have at least 3 more sleeps before you see him. And that is, well, you can only see him from the sky. If you don't go to bed or go to sleep, he won't come. Because all the good boys and girls must always be in bed when he comes." "Okay, Dad. Now, let's have a 5-minute break. I think you got some hot chocolate, haven't you, Mary?" said Chris. "Yes, I do, darling." They then open a flask and share some hot chocolate between them. Nicky walks and explores the woodlands a bit more. Mary telling Nicky, "Now, Nicky boy, don't run off." "I won't, Mom." "Don't worry," said Chris. "He's fine. We're in the woods. I'm sure there's nothing here that is a threat." Nicky wandered around. Then he saw something on the corner of his eye. He goes and follows it, and there he finds a deer. He approaches the deer and says, "Are you one of Santa's reindeers?" Then, out of nowhere, an arrow is plunged into the deer, killing it. From behind the tree, a skinny, crooked-looking man is there with a bow and arrow. Nicky screams. Then Chris and Mary hear him. They then break into a panic and start shouting, "Nicky! Nicky, where are you?" Then Nicky runs as fast as he can until he stops to catch his breath. Then from behind a tree, a big muscular man in a red coat and a bobble hat and a long grey beard appears. Nicky looks and then says, "Santa?" Chris and Mary then go to where they heard Nicky. All they find is blood from the deer and Nicky's hat. They then shout out and call out to him, but they do not find him. Then a search goes out with the police as they look for this boy, as it goes on the local news. Days before Christmas, and the child goes missing. One person, a park ranger who is quite an old man, says, "Listen, I've ranged these woods for a long time. I hate to tell you this, but your son is gone. How do you know that? I just do. Look, local villagers here, they have an understanding with these woods. They have an understanding with the wild man as it's his time of the year. What are you talking about, the wild man? Just, if you don't have anything helpful to say or anything helpful to do, just do one, said Chris. A year passes by and no sign of Nikki. More years had go by. By the 5th anniversary, Chris and Mary return, both not losing hope in their missing child. Every year they would return to the woodlands, to the national park, where the trail has pretty much gone cold and they believe that their son is dead. But they leave flowers every year. Then they come back a few days later, Christmas Eve, where they light a candle for Nicky and have a little box that is a present for him, wishing they could be with their missing child, until Chris sees something. He then says to Mary, "Did you see that?" "Did I see what?" said Mary. "Someone in the woods." They then go into the woods, looking around with a torch. As night falls, they hear chuckling and giggling from someone. Then they're face to face with a small, tall person, crooked, evil, and twisted, and giggling, with a spear in his hand. Both of them wondering who and what the hell he is, until a gunshot is heard. A park ranger then says, "Go back to where you came from." The park ranger then tells the two, "You better come with me." Back at the ranger station, he makes them a hot beverage and tells them that they should not be out here. Why not? Because it is dangerous, okay? Then, all of a sudden, outside they hear babies crying. Mary then says, "Is that a baby crying outside?" "No, don't. We got to help it." "Don't," said the park ranger. Mary ignores what he says and goes outside in the hopes to find this baby that is crying. Then she finds a baby in the center of the woods as if it's been left to die. But then, out of the darkness, a woman, a strange crooked woman, picks up the child and then carries it away. The park ranger then grabs and restrains Mary, telling her, "You should not interfere." Chris, who follows behind, says, "Okay, that's it. You better tell us exactly what is going on." Back in the station, the park ranger then says, "I have been a park ranger here now for 4 years. I knew of your son's disappearance, yes. My predecessor, he worked here for many years, making sure that people stay onto the path." "What are you talking about?" The park ranger then explains that tourists should always stick to the path and keep out of the heart of the woods, for that is the home of Santa Claus. Both parents laugh, saying, "Ha, you're fucking joking, right?" "No, said the park ranger. I'm not. Forget everything you know about Santa Claus, Saint Nicholas, all of that. Here Santa is real and he is the wild man. It started off, I don't know how far back, but these woods, they're not our woods, they're his woods. He hunts his food, he kills for his food, he is a trained hunter, and he can kill, said the park ranger. Every Christmas Eve he would come, and he would kill naughty children and naughty adults alike, and take all the good ones to be his little helpers. So at some point, the local village made an arrangement with this wild man. Every Christmas Eve they would give him a baby. Someone from the village would draw a short straw and have to give their firstborn at least to the woods, where the wild man would raise him to be his little helper, or as people say, his elf. That's who you've encountered tonight. His elves. You haven't encountered the real thing. Now, you should consider yourself lucky, because I don't know what these little elves are capable of. Especially this wild man. Look, you expect us to believe that, yes, you better believe it, and if your son went missing, then odds are he is dead, or good as. You don't know nothing. Look, your son, Nicky, is it? He was taken, I'm assuming, by this wild man, and they ate him. That's not fucking funny, said Chris. It's not meant to be, said the park ranger. You see, the wild man, anyone caught trespassing in his land around this time of the year will become his food source unless you stick to the path. Now, tell me, 5 years ago, did you stick to the path? Yes, we did. Our son Nicky wandered off the path for a while, and we never saw him again, and all we found was his hat. Yes, well, that is because the wild man got him. And if I'm right, he probably killed him. Best case scenario, he recruited your son and made him a helper. Either way, this wild man thing has been going around for generations now. Odds are he gets a successor and they become the next wild man. But I'm telling you, your son, he won't be the same person you lost. How old was he? No, 8, 7. He was 9. He would have been 14 on Christmas Day. Tell me, what were you doing here 5 years ago? We were taking a holiday, said Chris. We were taking a family holiday. Couldn't quite afford Lapland, but we thought Norway is the next best place. There was a Santa's village in the local town. I mean, the locals there were a bit odd, but we thought they're just villages. We thought we'd take a family walk. It was a nice enough day, cold but still nice. We were told to stick to the path. We thought because it's dangerous. Now we know that our son went missing. Exactly. Meanwhile, outside of the ranger station cabin, the wild man stands, looking, and then he turns to one of his elves, saying to the same female one who took the baby, who is also holding the child, he then says in his own strange language, "Are you sure they scared you and interfered with the gift exchange?" The woman elf nods her head, and then Santa says, "Then bring me their heads." Then, in the station, as they carry on talking, they then hear noises from outside. Chris and Mary wondering what the hell is going on. The park ranger then saying, "No, they should be out in the woods, they shouldn't be coming here. They left them a child. I think we might have interfered. We gotta beg for forgiveness, hope that they don't kill us." "What are you talking about then?" Noises are heard on the roof. The park ranger then says, "Oh God, they're on the roof." Then they break through the windows, giggling and laughing, causing havoc and mayhem. The park ranger, before he has chance to grab his rifle, he then is speared and shot with arrows. Bleeding out, he then tells Chris and Mary to run, and they do so. As for the park ranger, he then says, "Why are you doing this?" Then the elf says, "Because you've been naughty," and then slices his head off with an axe. As for Chris and Mary, they run. They run so far as the elves chase them. And then Chris is shot by a dart, and Mary is also shot by one. They then fall to the ground as they lose consciousness, and then, looking down at them, they see 2 big boots and a blood-stained coat, and a big bearded man looking down at them with evil eyes as they lose consciousness. Chris and Mary then wake up with bags on their head and tied up back to back. Scared and wondering what is going on, the bags are then taken off their heads, where they see the wild man. The wild man then approaches them, talking in his weird language. Not understanding him, he then says, "English. What are you doing in my woods? I don't understand. How are you Santa Claus?" "I am the Santa. The local villagers give me a gift every year, a firstborn child, newborn. And in exchange I give them a gift, their lives. I find it's a fair deal. I like to hunt. I like to kill people that are not welcome in my woods." Then he asks them, "Why do you come here every year? My elves have told me that you come here every year. Why?" "Because our son went missing. Our little boy Nicky, did you take him? Did you kill our son?" "Kill your son? Kill your son?" Then the wild man then says, "I don't kill good children." Then he then presents a young boy to them, around 14 years old, the age that their son Nicky would be. The parents then instantly recognize their son. They then say, "Nicky?" Chris, they're saying, "Is it you, son?" Mary also saying, "Nicky, it's us, your mum and dad." Then Santa speaks in his own tribal language, saying to Nicky, "Do you know these people, boy?" Nicky looks at them and says, "Yes, I do." "Who are they?" said Santa in their language. "They are dinner." Santa then says, "You heard him, my helpers. They are Christmas dinner. Let us feast." As they scream and beg for mercy, they start to get jabbed and speared to death. And they beg for mercy. Then Santa grabs an axe and cuts off their heads. Then, later, as they hog roast the bodies around the fire with the park ranger, as well as Chris and Mary, Santa then says, as they are preparing to feast, he then asks Nicky, "Those two adults, they were your parents, weren't they?" "Yes, they were. But you gave me the gift, the best gift of all. You showed me how to be a skilled hunter, and you also showed me that I could one day be Santa Claus. I lost my parents, but I found you." "Yes, they disobeyed the rules of the Rangers. They did not stick to the path. You'll make a fine wild man one day, Nicholas. You will be sainted like me, and you will one day wear my robe that is stained in the blood of our kills. Yes, Santa Claus." Then the elves prepare the table as they all prepare for their Christmas feast. Then Santa then says, "I feel it now. It is the turn of the midnight, Christmas morning. Let us all feast and welcome our new helper who will grow to be like all of you," as the elves also hold up the baby that they took earlier that night, and they begin to feast away. Meanwhile, outside of the woods, another villager stands and says, "Looks like we're going to need a new park ranger." "Yes," said another villager. We'll look in the new year. Of course, let the wild man feast, and let us celebrate another year of being alive. Christmas is but the darkest time of year for us." Did you enjoy that story? Was it unsettling? Did you find it scary at all? What did you think to the retelling or the telling of this Santa or this whole urban legend of the wild man? Let me know if you like this story down in the comments below, and if you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up and to share with your friends, and to feel free to subscribe to the official Random Horror YouTube channel. So be sure to have a very Merry Christmas, and I will see you so very soon, because I will be back with a New Year's special on New Year's Eve, yes. So be sure to tune in for that. And, as I said already, Merry Christmas. And until next time, don't have nightmares.